Hey, Brett Kitchen here, and I'm a little sleepy. Got in this morning at about 2 o'clock in the morning after flying to Kansas City, having the tour of all the different commercial real estate projects out there we were looking at. Then getting back to the airport, having Southwest delay us, but then all of a sudden we were able to get the pilot, we were able to get the technology to work, and we were able to get the flight attendant crew, and we got out of there and got home. And it actually wasn't too big of a delay after all. They just kept telling us that we were going to be delayed. So anyway, we're going to avoid Southwest at all costs. Usually I do. Delta's my go-to because I can just get where I want to get. But anyway, why we were out there has a lot to do with this concept of free real estate income. All right, so let me explain what that means. What if you could get the kind of passive income that you could generate from real estate without actually having the buildings, the tenants, the taxes, and the risk and the problems? That is the premise here. Because as we went out there, we're looking at buying a commercial project, and cap rates, which are basically the return of your money, are right now anywhere between 5.5, and if you're lucky, you can get up to 6.5%. So that means if you put $1 million in, you're going to get, at 5% cap rate, you're going to get $50,000 a year back in cash flow. Okay, well, that's not much better than, the Wall Street rule of the 4% rule. And so if you're getting 5% return on your money and you're dealing with the headache, the hassle, and the risk, well, it's not that great. So that's what we're able to get here where we live. By looking outside this area, which has been really kind of in a bubble, we've been able to look at cap rates of 6 and 6.5%. So your $1 million gets you 65,000 or 60,000 instead of the 50,000. Well, 65 compared to 50 is pretty good. The interesting thing about this is that, there's a lot of production here. We got to pay hundreds of thousands in fees for brokers and closing and all of that. We now have the issue of repairing the building, keeping it, keeping it maintained. And then, of course, we have to make sure that the tenants keep paying their bills. So we got to go through all of that. When they stop paying their bills, then you got to evict them, find somebody else, go through the whole process, hiring a leasing agent, paying them, et cetera, et cetera. Same thing goes with residential real estate. You've got the tenants, they stop paying, the stuff breaks, you got to go fix it. And there's an issue of, there's some work involved. No matter what every real estate guru teaches you, massive passive income isn't so passive all the time. Now, most of the time it is, but there's real risk there. So if you could get all of the gains, if you could get all the passive income, if you could get 6.5% on your money, the same that you could get from a real estate project, and you get that with no property, no taxes, no tenants, no building to maintain, well, why wouldn't you do that? Why would you intentionally want the headache and hassle? Well, you're not taking into account appreciation, right? Well, that may be the case. You're probably going to get some additional bumps in your returns on appreciation, but that's not cash flow. That's not money in my pocket. The only way I get that is when I sell the property, and when I sell it, I got to 1031 it into a different property. Otherwise, I'm going to get hammered with taxes. So it's this never-ending cycle. Real estate's great. We develop properties and projects, and we've done really well with that. The point is, though, when you're 60, 70, 80 years old and you're not as sharp maybe as you used to be, or maybe you don't want to be involved in the management of that, or maybe your spouse doesn't want to be the boss of the real estate project, then you're really at that point not looking for, how do I eke out an extra 1%? How do I squeeze every last 1%? We're looking for lifestyle, man. We just want to be able to enjoy life. Why are we going to be worried about all this stuff? Why do I got to be so greedy and be like, oh, I got to eke out every last 1%? We don't, and most people don't. In fact, it's proven the happiest people in retirement are those who just have guaranteed income streams paying them every month. And that's what income calibration can do for you. It can give you those level of returns. And it was funny because it dawned on me as I was flying back. I was like, look, we have to do this because, again, if we sell this project that we have, we got to move it into another project or we're going to get hammered on taxes. So therefore, we're rolling it into another project. But if I could get the same amount or maybe even a little bit higher return without all the hassle, without flying across the country and sitting in a crappy airport for 4 hours waiting for my flight, I'd do it in a heartbeat. And you can if you do it right, if you use the right kind of strategies. And so if you're a real estate person and you love real estate, I get it. It can create massive opportunities for wealth building. If you're looking for income and cash flow, there are other alternatives that we talk about in our income calibration process, specifically annuities that use indexing step-ups, progressive hedging, and profit pooling that can continue to give you income for the rest of your life guaranteed. So if you're interested in that, then you can request an income calibration plan. We'll show you how that works and be happy to help you enjoy the rewards of the passive income without the headaches.